Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here, welcome back to the channel. In this one, we've got some interesting news on the Delta Force front. They finally addressed the elephant in the room, the console release. We do have some progress on that front and exactly what is going on with that. We've had a new Q&A from the game director, Shadow, so we're going to jump into all of the interesting questions and answers that we got there. And then Delta Force have also done something quite unexpected. As always, if you guys enjoy the content here on the channel, hit the like button down below, really helps out with the algorithm and all of that stuff. Subscribe to the channel as well, plenty more videos to come here on Delta Force. I will be streaming the campaign tomorrow right here on YouTube as well as over on Twitch, so if that's something that interests you, then feel free to come along, swing by, that is always very appreciated. So first of all, they have decided to give away the campaign for the game, the Black Hawk Down campaign, absolutely free. This is a pretty crazy turn of events. They've always said that whilst the main multiplayer game will be free to play, the campaign is always going to be pay to play. And so them doing a complete 180 and just giving it to us, I'm not really sure why they would do that. Now, in their words, they say that they are doing it to thank the community and for our support of the game, but I would have thought that would be quite the hard sell to a company or a publisher like Tencent, who publishes Delta Force, to just give away a major part of the game for free. Now, according to reports, it's going to be around a 7-hour campaign, which is pretty much what I expected, somewhere in the region of 5 to 10 hours. That's quite similar to a lot of the Call of Duty campaigns that we see. But overall, what I've seen of the campaign, and they have released a new trailer, it looks pretty good. I would say it looks the closest to the old school Delta Force games that we've seen so far. I don't think either the warfare mode nor the operations mode really resembled the old Delta Force games at all. It's really only Delta Force in name only, but this campaign does feel a little bit more old school and authentic, so I definitely am interested to try it out. I was wondering what the pricing model was going to be, and now the good news is we can all try it absolutely free. Now, if you're wondering when this releases, it releases on the 20th or the 21st of February, depending on where you are located in the world. Here are a few various times. For me, it's going to be around 3 AM GMT, so I will not be staying up till that time in the morning to play the game, but I will be here tomorrow streaming it on YouTube and giving you guys my first impressions, letting you know what I think about it. Is it worth you downloading and checking out? So that's pretty awesome. Okay, moving on, let's get into some of the Q&A answers here that we got from the game director, Shadow. So the burning question on everybody's lips, of course, is when is the console version of the game finally going to release? They've always said that it was planned to release in the first quarter of 2025, and well, this is what Shadow had to say on the matter. So he says, quote, "The console version was planned for release in the first quarter of 2025. Unfortunately, I have some bad news. The release date may need to be postponed. However, I'd like to update you on our current progress. The development of the console version is going well. Some of the challenges we face now and in the future are mainly about ensuring input fairness, especially for a tactical shooter on consoles. How do we ensure that players of different skill levels can have a fair, balanced aiming experience? This is a key issue that we have to solve now." So, bad news there for anybody who's been waiting for the game to finally release on consoles. They've kind of tiptoed around anything to do with the console release whenever anybody asks them. They have simply declined to answer those questions for the longest time, and this is probably the reason. They knew that they had to delay it eventually, and they didn't want to come out and say anything before they were absolutely sure. And by the sounds of it here, them talking about fairness and a tactical shooter on consoles and different inputs, that sounds like they're not really planning for any possibility to turn off crossplay. This sounds like they're trying to solve the problem of mouse and keyboard versus controller, especially in a very high stakes game like the operations mode. So I think for a lot of us who were expecting either to be able to turn off crossplay or to simply have input-based matchmaking where mouse and keyboard is matched up with mouse and keyboard and controller is matched up with controller, I think personally that is the best approach, because a lot of people do actually use mouse and keyboard on consoles these days, or at least some of them do. It sounds like that is maybe not necessarily going to be the case here. Now, he also says another challenge we face is optimizing the UI and the overall interactions of the operations mode. Adapting the UI for this mode is quite complex, and I can completely understand that. As far as tactical shooters go, they are generally PC-only games, so you've got an inventory, lots of items that you need to be flicking through, so adapting that from PC where you've got a mouse to be able to simply click on them and right-click to bring up sub-menus and all that stuff is going to be quite the challenge to get that working on console. But if you look at a game like Diablo, which has traditionally always been on PC, I think Blizzard did a pretty good job of bringing that game to console, and it just works really well. So I'm sure where there is a will, there is a way, but it is going to take them some more time, unfortunately. So they've also said they're going to release a detailed roadmap, including the progress that they're making with the console version soon, and they're going to aim to be as transparent as possible. So obviously over the last couple of months, they haven't been very transparent at all with the console version. People have been asking literally every live stream where there's a Q&A. I can't tell you how many questions I've seen about when is the console version coming, when is the console version coming? Never any answers, so it's great to hear that they are going to be at least a bit more transparent with that so we can keep an eye on the progress. Now, somebody also asked a question about whether they will be implementing a kill cam, and a kill cam would be a great addition to the game because, as we know, cheating, especially in the operations mode, is quite the issue, and so having a kill cam implemented there really helps the player be able to report people effectively and tell if it looks like they're cheating or not with some level of certainty. Obviously, we as players are really the most effective way of combating cheating. Yes, the anti-cheat is going to stop some people, but a lot of people will get through the net, and then it really just comes down to players like me and you to report them in-game when we see them, and having a kill cam is going to go a long way in that regard. So they say they've already tested an early version of the kill cam in China, but the representation of certain operators and pieces of tactical gear was not very accurate, and so it requires further polishing before they can push that out, but it is supposed to release next season. He also mentioned that they are planning to implement gear caps for easy mode in the operations mode next season. So for those of you who play operations, you will be familiar that people queue up in the easy mode and they're just totally overgeared. So for anybody who's new to the game, like I don't play operations, for example, so if I hopped in there, I would probably start off with the easy mode. You can run into players who are just decked out in the best gear in the game, which kind of defeats the purpose of easy mode, doesn't it? So next up, he mentioned that they are working on a night mode for operations. Nothing about the warfare maps, although I can only imagine if they're going to bring night mode for some operations maps, they're probably also going to make it into warfare eventually. And yes, that will include night vision gear, all that sort of stuff, lasers, you know, IRNV goggles, night vision goggles, those sorts of things will be accompanying the night mode as well. No ETA on that one yet, but it is a work in progress. And then the final question here is actually something that's been plaguing, I think, a lot of us. This guy says, my game feels laggier after the update. What is Team Jade doing to address this issue? So just to expand a little bit on what this guy is getting at, I don't know your guys' experience, but feel free to comment down below if you've been experiencing stuttering, but I certainly have. Not only that, but when Season 2 released, I lost like, I want to say 100 FPS on average. I was getting close to 300. Now it's down around 200 FPS. So clearly they changed something with that update. It wasn't just a driver update from Nvidia or something along those lines. It was something that Team Jade did to the game. And basically what they said in the answer here is that they will continue to work on optimization, and in collaboration with third-party driver providers like Nvidia, they're also trying their best to make the game updates smaller in size, and they're trying to make the loading screens shorter in length. Which, you know, those two last things, that's not really what the asker of this question was getting at. He's basically saying, hey, why does the game feel half broken now, and why is performance so bad? And they just essentially came out and said, well, we're going to do our best to continue to improve performance, which is a given anyway, right? Of course, yes, like we know you're going to do your best to improve performance, but when can we expect a fix for what appears to be an obvious bug at the moment, or at least an issue with the game? So guys, please leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think about everything we've talked about today. Let me know if you're going to check out the Black Hawk Down campaign, but specifically, how is performance for you, and specifically since Season 2 release? Because like I say, for me, it's really just fallen off a cliff. I've always just thought it was me, and maybe it's not affecting many other people, but I see more and more reports of this every day. And this guy here who asked this question obviously has some of the same issues there as well. If you enjoyed the video today, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe for more Delta Force and Battlefield, and I will see you guys in the next video.